Good afternoon, Chair.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Mogotsi. Good to see you again.
Chair, may I say something, please?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Chair.
Yes.
I think it's very much important that I put this into record regarding the whole process as how it unfolded. It should be recorded again, Chair. I have noticed the proceedings, including when my counsel speaks, she got interrupted more than 10 times. The counsel here was allowed to speak. When my counsel tried to read one case law into record, it was that, no, we know it. The other counsel had an opportunity to speak uninterrupted for so long. Secondly, Chair, when I came here before, I came voluntarily, and as it was also put in my affidavit, the information that I said will need to be corroborated and be converted into evidence that is required or needed here. I've given that all. I was declared a liar. I kept on saying I had to do the affidavit so that we could process the 252A. I was declared a liar again. And now today, again, I've made an application for the recusal of the chief evidence leader, which it was fair, it was done properly. It is within the discretion of the commission to arrive at a certain conclusion. By so saying, Chair, I want to say I'm very much unhappy with the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mogotsi. I've heard you. We will continue with the hearing of your testimony. Thank you.
Mr. Mogotsi, since you last testified, both General Sabia and the person you say was your co-handler have testified. And I just want to clarify certain discrepancies between what you told us and what they told us. General Sabia said two things that are at odds with your evidence. The first was that he said that he hadn't met you before the January 8th event in Cape Town, that was the first time he met you. And the second is that at no stage when he met you did he ever discuss any official policing business or operational, investigative, or intelligence matters. So I just want your response to each of those.
Yeah,
was General Sabia correct to say that the first time he met you was at the 8th January event?
Yeah, to all the answers, I'm not going to incriminate myself going forward, Chair.
But I don't understand how you can incriminate yourself in relation to whether you met General Sabia before January the 8th or only on January.
As I said, I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Please explain how that incriminates you.
By answering that question, Chair, I'll be incriminating myself again. I therefore request to rather invoke my right to remain silent.
How does this incriminate you, Mr. Mogotsi?
That's the answer. I do not want to incriminate myself any further. That's the answer, Chair.
Doesn't answer my question. I hear you when you say you do not want to incriminate yourself. What I want to understand is how this incriminates you.
I don't want to incriminate myself, Chair.
It is open to a witness to adopt that stance. But it does not mean that that necessarily makes sense in all instances. I should just draw it to your attention that the section, I think it's section 6 of the Commissions Act, and there's also, is it Regulation 8? 1, if I'm not mistaken. But there's also provision in the regulations. Both create an offense if a witness that has been sworn in fails to answer fully and satisfactorily any question lawfully put to them. So for you to simply say this incriminates you, you don't explain how, you don't explain what the crime is, we are completely in the dark. It may well be that we may have to consider this. I am not saying that you are not entitled to raise what you are raising. It may well be that there is a basis for substantiating it and for exculpating yourself from the possible applicability of Section 6 and the relevant regulation. But I think it only fair that I should draw your attention to the provisions of these statutory prescripts. So are you still insisting that that's the
That's my
attitude you are
posture, Chair.
adopting?
That's my posture. I've gone through those rules, and as a layman, I may not have full comprehension as to how they work. Perhaps my legal team will talk to that, but I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Yes, Mr. Shaskelson.
Chair, I think it is possibly appropriate for Mr. Mogotsi to take some legal advice on this, because certainly the attitude of the evidence leaders is that, subject to any plausible reason for a fear of self-incrimination, the evidence leaders would want a refusal to answer questions to be followed by a referral for prosecution under the relevant provisions of the Act. And while I can understand that there are certain questions that I want to ask today that might legitimately elicit an assertion of privilege against self-incrimination, I certainly hadn't imagined that this one would. And there are going to be a lot of questions that are going to give rise to this issue. So I think Mr. Mogotsi needs to understand what his legal position is, and I don't want him to be put into a position where he ends up being prosecuted for refusing to answer questions, believing that he has a right to do so when he doesn't.
No, Chair, I'm not refusing to answer questions.
Mr. Mogotsi, I will invite you and I want to hear you.
All right.
Ms. Mohumane,
Chair.
do you want to take the opportunity to talk to your client? Perhaps let's just adjourn. Let's adjourn. We'll come back when it's indicated to us when to come back.
If whether those are the correct instructions.
I'm not sure whether I follow. Is the stance that Mr. Mogotsi this afternoon will not be answering any questions, and that his stance with regard to all questions put to him is that he will not answer, and that he will claim his privilege against self-incrimination in response to all questions?
Chair, thus far my instructions fall on the evidence of General Sibia. I'm uncertain.
That's what confuses me. I'm not sure I follow that.
Chair, if I may, I see a nod from Mr. Mogotsi when Chair asks that, would it be with all the other witnesses? And I see a nod from Mr. Mogotsi's side. May Chair confirm for me?
Yes. Perhaps let me ask you directly, Mr. Mogotsi. I'm not sure that I follow your counsel. I want to establish from you whether your stance is that you will claim privilege against self-incrimination in response to all questions, whatever their nature.
Chair, I'll sit here and wait for all the questions. I will respond to each and every question, as I said. If question is posed, I'm not refusing. If I say I do not want to incriminate myself, I'm answering. I'm aware of the repercussion as I'll be in contempt with the Commission. So I'm saying a self-incriminatory kind of environment, I believe I should be given an opportunity to do that. I'll wait for every question, I'll respond. I won't say I put a blind blanket in all the questions. As they come, I will respond.
Mr. Chaskalson, I guess the best way to deal with it is for you to put all your questions to Mr. Mogotsi.
Let's proceed then, Chair.
Yes,
So,
yes.
my first question was, is General Sabia correct to say that the first time that he met you was in Cape Town around the January the 8th event?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
And my second question is General Sabia correct when he told us that he never discussed any official policing business or operational, investigative, or intelligence matters with you at any time?
Still, I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Then let me proceed to another question. The man who you have described as your co-handler has said that he met with you and General Sabia in Bryanston well before January the 8th, 2025. Is that correct?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Let's proceed. When you were at Parliament, you withdrew your allegations against General Mkhwanazi and King Misisulu, and you apologized for casting aspersions on them. Can we then accept that from your perspective, the Commission doesn't have to pursue those allegations further?
Like I said, every question I will respond, Chair. Indeed, in Parliament I said so, but I do not want to incriminate myself, Chair.
Let's move on to your status as an agent or an informant. Can I ask you to go to page 8 of the exhibit bundle?
Chaskalson, Chair made a ruling the other day that we should refer to CJC numbers for the transcription. CJC is 40.
CJC 40. I can see myself running into difficulties on that. Can you get me, can you just email me an index so that I can look at it?
Chaskalson will assist you because we have the physical file. So if you give us a page number, we'll do that.
Thank you. So on page 8, there is an affidavit from a colonel in the Division of Crime Intelligence who is the section head of undercover operations and agent program. And you'll see in paragraph 1 that colonel states, this section is responsible for registration of all undercover operations and deployment of undercover agents, either discharged or non-discharged agents for head office in 9 provinces. And then he says, Mr. Brown Mogotsi with identity number, and he gives you identity number, has never been in our program as an undercover agent. There are no records that indicate that Mr. Mogotsi was ever an agent. In our manual database and a computer system, his name does not appear as a person that was ever an undercover agent. As the Undercover Operations and Agent Support section, we provide operational support functions and administer all agent files for members of the South African Police Service. The management and administration of all undercover agents, regardless of the division, component or province where a person is placed, is the responsibility of this office. The Brown Mogotsi was never employed, enlisted in the South African Police Service. His name does not reflect on the record systems of the South African Police Service. I therefore deny that Mr. Brown Mogotsi was ever an undercover agent of the South African Police Service. So the person charged with maintaining all of the records of undercover agents in the South African Police Service Criminal Intelligence Division denies that you were ever an undercover agent. Do you have a response to that?
I responded in Parliament. This person only got appointed in 2024. I know how he got appointed. I know where he used to work. He can never know me. Therefore, I would not want to implicate myself. Are you asserting a privilege against self-incrimination not to answer that question? Yes, that's correct. That's the answer I'm going to give to all the questions, by the way.
Well, we'll still go through the questions one by one.
Yes.
Who informed you that you were acting as an agent?
I'm not incriminating myself, Chair.
Did anybody inform you that you were acting as an agent?
I would not want to incriminate myself, Chair.
Let's go down to the next annexure. I think it would be CJC 41. It's at page 10. And there you'll see this is an affidavit with a colonel stationed at the Secret Services account in the Division of Crime Intelligence. And the colonel says, I am the acting section head of finance responsible overall management of the financial administration of the Secret Services account. Part of my duties include administrative management of informer database nationally. The SSA Central Informant Index falls under the control of the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence or his/her delegate appointed for this purpose and serves as the nodal point for the registration and handling of record checks relating to informants. All active and inactive informants are placed on the register, as it is important to know if a person is or has been an informant previously. Paragraph 4. A record of all known information peddlers, hawkers is kept on a separate database to ensure that such persons' particulars are supplied for record purposes. The bona fides of such persons must be placed under suspicion as they are normally not trustworthy and attempt to provide information to the highest bidder, irrespective of the consequences. And then if you go down to paragraph 5 on page 11, the Division of Crime Intelligence is responsible for registering and managing informants. All registered informants are subject to verification every 6 months. During this process, handlers and their immediate commanders are required to physically verify the source and submit a certificate to this office for capturing. The ID number, and your numbers given, belonging to Mr. Brown Mogotsi was tested against the Crime Intelligence database. This ID number is registered in the CAPFIN system with the, and that's been redacted. The source was handled by and it's redacted, and co-handled by and it's also redacted. The source was registered on 9 January 2001 at Soweto cluster, and the same source was deregistered on 20 August 2001. The handlers requested an amount of 1,200 rands for recruitment fee to motivate the contact. According to our report, there are no other financial transactions relating to the source for the period he was active in our system. So the colonel responsible for administering crime intelligence records of all informants says you were an informant for a brief period in 2001, but there is no record of you being an informant ever after. Do you have a comment on that?
No incriminating.
Sorry?
I don't want to incriminate myself.
Now, in fairness to you, I should place on record that the person who you describe as your co-handler says that he was aware that you were being run as an informant. He does confirm that you were being run as an informant. He, however, was emphatic that you were never an agent, only an informant. Do you want to comment on that?
I don't want to incriminate myself.
In your affidavit, you described yourself as a contact agent. The person who you referred to as your co-handler says there is no such thing as a contact agent. Do you want to comment on that?
I'm not going to incriminate myself.
And that person also testified that you and he were homeboys from Soweto and knew each other outside SAP's work. What is your response to that?
I don't want to incriminate myself, Chair.
Now, in your statement, you say that your handler was Warrant Officer Mabizela. Do you stand by that statement? There are 6 different references in your statement to Warrant Officer Mabizela as your handler.
Yes, Mabizela, Mabuza. I understand that. I don't want to incriminate myself.
Sorry, you said Mabizela Mabuza.
I don't want to incriminate myself.
You don't want to incriminate yourself. Well, the man who you describe as your co-handler was adamant that you were never handled by Warrant Officer Mabizela, only by Warrant Officer Mabuza. What's your response to that?
Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
And the man who you describe as your co-handler was also adamant that he wasn't your co-handler. He said he just played a supervisory role in relation to Warrant Officer, a minor supervisory role in relation to Warrant Officer Mabuza. Do you want to respond to that?
I don't want to incriminate myself.
He said the primary supervisory role in relation to Warrant Officer Mabuza was played by a Colonel Duma who was later promoted to Brigadier Duma. And you want to respond to that?
I don't want to incriminate myself.
And he also said that Colonel Duma was involved as the supervisor of your handler, Warrant Officer Mabuza, right from your first alleged meeting with the man you describe as your co-handler. Do you have a response to that?
I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Can you explain why there is no mention of Colonel Duma in your statement?
I'm not going to implicate myself. He was Brigadier Duma, actually. Let me not incriminate myself.
Well, he was later promoted to Brigadier Duma, but at the beginning we are told he was Colonel Duma. Can you say why there's no mention of him in your statement?
Let me not incriminate myself.
Can you say why there's no mention of Warrant Officer Mabuza in your statement?
Mabuza and Mabizela is almost the same name. They refer to one person, but let me not implicate myself.
So if I understand you to say that Mabuza and Mabizela are the same person.
Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
A person who was your co-handler said he introduced you with Colonel Duma, Warrant Officer and Warrant Officer Mabuza to General Sabia. Do you have a comment on that?
I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Now, Warrant Officer Mabuza is dead. Are you aware, or do you want to, can you confirm that?
It's true. May his soul rest in peace.
Brigadier Duma, who used to be Colonel Duma, is also dead. Can you confirm that?
May his soul rest in peace. No, it's true, he has passed on.
General Mfazi, who you say in your statement is the first person to whom your handlers reported, has also passed away.
All of them, but let me not incriminate myself.
Mr. Mogotsi, just so that I understand your answer, when you say all of them, I don't want to incriminate myself, are you saying all of them have passed on?
That's correct.
Or is that what you're saying? All right, thank you.
Chair, you know, when I was here, I told the commission how a man was killed. The evidence leader does not want to ask me things that I presented. How a man bought a property for 100 million, put it in his daughter's name. Those questions are not asked. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Mr. Shaswalson.
You see, Mr. Mogotsi, there are only two people who may have had anything to do with your operations in crime intelligence and who are still alive. The one is the person you describe as your co-handler, and the other is General Sabia. Is there anybody else in crime intelligence who may have had something to do with your operations who is still alive?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Well, the two people who you have identified as being involved in your alleged role as a crime intelligence operative are first General Sabia, and he denies ever discussing any police matters with you. Can you comment on that?
I don't comment, I don't want to implicate myself.
And then your co-handler testified to us that he had very little to do with your operational activities. That was all handled by Warrant Officer Mabuza and Brigadier Duma. And he can't account for any, he has no knowledge of any reports that you gave to Warrant Officer Mabuza or Brigadier Duma. That was his evidence. Do you want to comment on that?
No comment.
You see, Mr. Mogotsi, I'm genuinely wanting to point something out here which may be to your assistance. It's not just Mr. Karim who is throwing you under the bus. It's everyone in SAPS who has ever dealt with you who's also throwing you under the bus. And you need to think about that in relation to your answers.
Yeah, but I never fell under the bus.
Sorry? You never yes.
Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
Let's look at your alleged crime intelligence investigation. What were you told to investigate in relation to crime intelligence?
I'm not going to implicate myself, Chair.
Sorry, you're not going to?
To incriminate myself.
I see. Who was the target of your investigation into crime intelligence?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Mr. Mogotsi, you've criticized me for not following up your alleged leads in relation to crime intelligence properties. Who tasked you to follow those leads?
Let me not incriminate myself. You know, Chair, the gentleman who seated here, he came to the lawyers with a document saying, Mr. Chattel say you must check this to be presented here, before he made a ruling. Senior Chattelson knew he was going to come and ask me a question. because he sent this gentleman to come and see my lawyers and say, you say you must prepare yourself. Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
Yes, Mr. Mogotsi, to set the record straight, between Advocate Hasim and ourselves, we agreed that we would both prepare to ask questions to you and that I would take responsibility for preparing if there were any additional documents that had to be put before you. That is the context in which that document was presented to your lawyers. If the recusal application had gone your way, Advocate Hasim would be here asking the same questions as I'm asking.
Thank you, Chair.
You understand the point?
Yes, very well. Thank you,
So your testimony would have been heard regardless of the outcome. If the application had been granted, Ms. Hasim would have been the one questioning you now. So those documents would have been relevant.
Either way.
Either way, yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Mogotsi, what did you discover in your investigations into crime intelligence?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Why did you criticize me for not pursuing leads that you allegedly offered me in relation to crime intelligence properties if you weren't prepared to testify to that for fear of self-incrimination?
Chair, when I came here with evidence, in everything I said, this is two questions you asked me. My ID number and the matter in the Northwest Health Department. Very relevant. The narrative was to prove that I'm a liar. Everyone, they know I'm a liar. None of the things that I submitted or anything that I wanted to have been corroborated were never entertained till today. Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
Did you report your discoveries to General Sabia?
I'm not going to incriminate myself or General Sabia.
Did you report your discoveries to General Khan?
I don't know General Khan. I never worked with General Khan, and I'm not going to incriminate myself.
The man you describe as your co-handler says that he works with General Khan and regards General Khan as his close friend. Are you aware of that?
That is something that I should not incriminate myself with, Chair.
Let's look at the documents that you wanted me to investigate. Can I ask you to go to page 64 of the evidence bundle, sorry, of the exhibit, of the annexure bundle. It's annexure BM 7.23.
Six four.
6.4. BM 7.23. Do you have the document?
I do, thank you.
And if I understand it correctly, it is an image of a route from one property which I understand you to say is a property that was irregularly purchased by crime intelligence to a new property where the business on the old property now operates. Is that correct?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
I see. Where did you get this image that you sent to Mr. Matlala on the 2nd of January at 11:57 in the morning?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Let me ask a follow-up question. Why did you send this to Mr. Matlala?
I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Thank you.
Let's go to page 65. Same, the next page. I'm just going to go page by page here. And you see there at 11:57:04, there is a photograph of a brick wall and a house behind it that you also sent to Mr. Matlala. Is this a picture of the property that we previously discussed?
I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Why did you send this picture to Mr. Matlala?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
And from whom did you acquire this picture?
I was going to say a source, but because I don't want to incriminate myself, Chair.
You say you got you were going to say a source. Can you give us details of the source? I don't want you to say out loud because I don't want to expose the identity of the source, but I would like to get the name of the source so that we can follow it further.
Even if I was prepared to incriminate myself, all the names I've given you, even one man is in hospital, is being departmentally charged. Every person I mentioned here, in camera between me and you, they've been called. But the informant, I know, I still repeat, the investigating officer of the informant, the co-handler and the handler of the informant who was killed, I know them. Chair, evidence leader doesn't want those names of the people who are still in subs who can corroborate. Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
Sorry, the investigating officer, the informant, you've never given us that information.
You never asked for them.
No, but I understood your first answer to be every name that you have given to us has left somebody dead. So you will admit that you have never given us the name of the investigating officer of the informant.
It's what I'm saying, Chair, that there was no interest from the side of the evidence to say, but you say this man was killed like this. Who's the co-handler? Who was the handler? Because they're there from this brigadier, the colonel, and the IO. I know them. We never asked them.
Mr. Mogotsi, your version in relation to the man who was killed, who you described as Warrant Officer Mabizela, and who we did investigate. Warrant Officer Mabizela was not killed. Warrant Officer Mabizela was imprisoned.
Mabuza.
You didn't call him Mabuza, you called him Mabizela. Warrant Officer Mabizela is alive and well and in prison. The only Warrant Officer Mabizela in crime intelligence, who has been in crime intelligence over this period. You didn't give us the name of Warrant Officer Mabuza, so we couldn't investigate Warrant Officer Mabuza. You told us of your co-handler and you gave us his name. We have spoken to your co-handler. Your co-handler has testified in camera here. You have given us no other names.
Chair, I gave you another name. I gave you Major General Lushaba. I said he took a woman to the house. A case was opened. He got arrested for that matter. He was never called here. He's the CFO of the crime intelligence. He was never called here.
You're giving... let me correct myself. You have given us the name of Major General Lushaba as a target, not as someone to go to investigate, to support your allegations.
Okay, let me not incriminate myself.
Let's go to page 65. At the bottom of the page, going over to 66, there is a salary record of part of a SAP's salary record. Where did you get this screen with a salary inquiry on it?
I remember very well let me not incriminate myself.
Why did you send it to Mr. Matlala?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Let's go to the next page, 66. There at 11:57:05, you sent to Mr. Matlala company details of what you allege to be the company in which the crime intelligence property is housed. How did you acquire these details?
I'll just request the addresses of this property not to be displayed.
Sorry, the addresses of this property?
I was just saying I hope they are not there, but let me not incriminate myself on this. And the name of the person who the property was transferred to is also here.
Yes, you have an unredacted bundle, so you know what we're talking about. The public and the screen behind you only has redacted bundles.
Thank you.
If you were worried about disclosing this information, why did you send it to Mr. Matlala?
I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Let's go to the foot of the page. There? At the 17:57:05 WhatsApp, you send what looks like a screenshot of a business saying where they've moved from, or where they've moved to.
That's correct.
That was the business that used to reside at the property that you say was purchased by crime intelligence. Is that not right?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Where did you get that screenshot?
Chair, I so wish during that adjournment, SC could have asked that question. I can give you the name of the person to come here who got the receipts, proof of payments of all these illegal purchases. I have.
Well, why don't you write it down on a piece of paper and...
It was exactly, remember I wrote the name here, even the chair had to give an order because it went out. But it should be done differently if ever I'm prepared to incriminate myself next time.
Well, I'm inviting you to write down the name of the source of each one of these documents that you WhatsApp to Mr. Matlala.
No, Chair,
If the insinuation is that something given privately to us was leaked by us, there is no truth to that at all. We keep the documents to ourselves, and for the record, we have never leaked a single one of those documents.
Okay, Chair.
The only name that I understand you to have given to us in confidence was the name of your alleged co-handler. And that name has been...
It was not shown by the Commission. It just leaked to the media here. The chair also gave an order that it should not be published. I appreciate that. But I'm saying, through the lawyer, I can give you the name of person who have receipts, proof of payments, who, like your government procurement, who authorized, who signed, who approved. He has those things, but maybe that's what should be asked so that we can give to you. All these ones is just to incriminate myself.
You see, Mr. Mogotsi, I would urge you to give us this information because what we're dealing with is something very, very important and central to this entire commission. All of these documents that we're talking about now are documents relating to the two criminal cases against General Kumalo and his co-accused. You're aware of that?
Not yet charged for that. It's only charged for appointment of a BMW woman. It's not charged for this. And even when General Kumalo or Masemola were here, they would never be subjected to this harsh questioning like you do on General Sibiya and others.
Well, let me continue. It was the arrest of General Kumalo in relation to these charges that really triggered General Mkhonazi's press conference in July last year. And General Mkhonazi clearly regarded those arrests as evidence of organized crime, or states that he regards those arrests as evidence of organized crimes hold over the criminal justice system. So one of two things is going on. Either there is a genuine investigation into the illegal use of crime intelligence funds in relation to these properties and the illegal appointment of a crime intelligence brigadier, in which case we need as much information as possible to show that when General Mkhonazi characterized those acts as a conspiracy involving organized crime, he was wrong. That's the one option.
Chair.
The other option is that General Mkhonazi was right, and this was an attempt by organized crime to essentially frame General Kumalo in relation to false offenses. If that's the scenario, then we also need to investigate it. Either way, we need to investigate it. So I would urge you to give us this information.
That's the first thing, Chair. When I met you for the first time, I told you about that. The arrest of General Kumalo and the other generals, there's nothing to do with the properties. They were arrested for the appointment of a brigadier. For General Mkhonazi, as you say, it triggered and so forth. It's what I told you, it's what I had in mind. It's what I even said. He came to the police college here to write the statement, the July 6th, how it was staged. I presented that to you. So let me not incriminate myself further.
So you're declining to give us the information that we say is at the center of the inquiry of this commission?
I'm not declining. I'm saying it for now, to come here in public and mention those things doesn't help. I could rather give that to the lawyers and the person who have the papers, proof of payments, who can prove. He wants to come here. He's not getting an opportunity. I can get that for you. But General Kumalo was not arrested for these properties. The same thing you saw about General Mkhonazi and the Big Five. In the first place, how did South African Police Service appoint a Big Five Madlanga? How did they screen him? And now he's a Big Five. Let me not incriminate myself, Jane.
Can I ask you to look at the foot of page 65?
Yes.
Is that salary record not directly relevant to the arrest of General Kumalo?
Let me not incriminate myself, Jane.
I see. What about page 73? Another salary record. Next to 115710, that the second screenshot on the page. Is that relevant to the arrest of General Kumalo?
Let me not incriminate myself, Jane.
Let's go down to page 75. The screenshot from somebody whose name appears on a WhatsApp to you, dealing with the appointment of someone as a brigadier. Is that relevant to the arrest of General Kumalo?
That's relevant.
Sorry?
It is relevant.
It is relevant.
Yeah.
And are you willing to give us the details of the person whose name is there?
I mean, the matter is sub judice now. It's before the court. They even went to court today for the same matter. Perhaps it's one of the things which should be handled there.
I'm asking for the details of the name, the details, the full name and phone number of the person whose name we see on that message that you sent to Mr. Matlala on the 2nd of January.
Let me not incriminate myself.
Are you saying it would incriminate you to provide those details?
I may be incriminated. He may be called there. He can apply for my cross-examination, and I'll be incriminated, definitely. Bring me, probably.
Sorry, being cross-examined is not the same as being incriminated, Mr. Mogotsi.
Yeah, there's a layman thinking. I don't want to be incriminated if possible, Chair.
So are you suggesting that if we speak to that person whose name we see on top of that screenshot, he may tell us information that will lead to you being criminally convicted?
I'm not sure. Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
What about the...
Sorry, Mr. Chaskasan, can I just understand? Mr. Mogotsi, you do understand, and is that your intention, that when you speak about self-incrimination, you're speaking about self-incrimination against prosecution, criminal prosecution. Is that how you're using this?
I'm not conversant with those processes. I just learned and being advised by lawyers that I should not incriminate myself.
The reason I'm asking is because just one answer back, you said you don't want to say something and this person comes here and cross-examines you. So that's why I'm asking when you speak about self-incrimination, are you using it, or do you understand what it is that you're saying? Are you saying, I don't want to answer because I don't want to be prosecuted? Or are you saying, I don't want to answer because I don't want to be cross-examined? I just want to understand.
No, thank you. I understand now.
Which one is it of the two?
I don't want to be prosecuted, but this one I don't know. I know nothing, and I don't.
Okay, so you don't want to be prosecuted when you say I don't self-incriminate.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, which one did you say you know nothing about?
Like the name that he said, there's so many names like this. I don't know, and I'll end up incriminating myself with this name.
Mr. Mogotsi, you're edging towards perjury here. I find it impossible to believe that you are unable to identify the name of someone in your phone book who has a name on a WhatsApp that is sent addressed to you.
Yeah, to avoid perjury, let me not incriminate myself.
No, you can't plead a privilege against self-incrimination because you might perjure yourself if you give a false answer. The privilege against self-incrimination applies only to true answers.
That's correct. But remember I said, Chair, why am I not giving opportunity? If any of these things would have to be given to you, should come through the lawyers. That I don't come back here and incriminate myself.
I don't follow what you say about something coming from your lawyers. What exactly are you saying?
Chair, I'm saying if there's anything which probably the evidence leader may want, because as he lead evidence, remember he's asking me about things that, the information from my phone, that can't it be useful that I perhaps give through the lawyers whatever he wants if I have? Because others, you may find I'm not clued up with it.
Yes, Mr. Chaskasan.
Now, I'm going to repeat my question. Can you give us the name and contact details, the full name and contact details of the person whose name appears at the top of that WhatsApp? Whose first name appears?
I only knew this person as is written, and remember my phones were taken by the police. So I'm not having those old numbers anymore. But I only knew him like this, so that's the answer.
So you're telling us you just don't know the answer to that? You are unable to give us
Not that I'm
the answer.
able.
Is that what you're saying?
No, Chair. This name I know it is. So you want the name and the surname, which I don't have the surname. You want the contact numbers of this person. They are gone with the cell phone.
So you don't know how to get hold of this person?
I'm not sure. I cannot. And now no one trusts me. Remember, I'm a liar now.
Where does this person work?
Let me not incriminate myself. Chair.
Mr. Mogotsi, maybe just also to make the observation that there is a difference between refusing to answer a question and because you don't want to answer the question, and there's also the I won't answer the question because I will incriminate myself if I give you the answer. So when you are asked a question about where is this person employed, and your answer, and you don't want to give that answer, it's not self-incrimination, it's you're refusing to answer the question.
Yes, I understand.
Is that you understand the
Yes,
difference?
I get your point.
Okay, thank you.
Well, let me try again. And let's call this person John.
John.
Okay, John. Okay, we'll just call him John. His name is not John. We know what his name is. The screenshot reflects that at 11:27 you asked John, and then somebody's name is included there, by julle aangestel as 'n brig. So you asked whether that person who we know was appointed as a brigadier at Crime Intelligence is by julle aangestel as 'n brig. So can we infer from that that John works in Crime Intelligence?
Yeah, you see, this message, I think it was forwarded to me because the language written here, there's no way he and me can speak in this language. So this John, I don't know, I can't find, I only knew it's John. I can't find this John.
Now, a short while ago you were saying to me that you couldn't identify John because John may have been on your phone, but your phone has disappeared. So,
No, PK, they took it, PK.
sorry?
It was taken by the police.
Yes, taken by the police.
It means we can
So
go
you
to my
don't
phone.
have your phone anymore, so you can't tell me who John is.
No.
Now you're saying something completely different. Now you're saying, no, John didn't send a WhatsApp to me, John sends a WhatsApp to somebody else who forwarded it to me.
No, Chair, I'm saying the language that is written here, you may find it was forwarded, this portion. And now this John, I only knew this John on my phone like this. I don't have his surname and I don't have his numbers.
You've never had his number?
Of John.
Of John, yes.
No, John like it was in my phone. I don't know his surname. So
Yes.
if you say I should go and look for him, I can't find him.
Yes, because you don't have your phone anymore.
Yeah.
But
if I
what you
can
asked John,
But Chair, if I can be, what I've just requested in assisting this process, if there's anything which perhaps senior counsel may want to be, if it can be done with my lawyers, all the names, whatever that he needs, like things that I said, I did talk about the names. I'm ready. I can get the lawyers to even that they can submit them to senior counsel. Not only John, anything that is here, perhaps the names and the surname, like you say, you want to go and do some investigations. It can help, Jay.
Mr. Chairperson?
well, I would like to know John's name and number.
I'm going to object, Chair. This,
Just before that. Yes, Ms. Muhammad.
thank you, Chair. The question that the evidence leader is putting to Mr. Mogotsi, I believe has been asked on numerous occasions, and his response thereto is that the phone is not available. It was taken by the police. He doesn't know how to get a hold of this John. Now, asking him on numerous occasions, he's already given the answer. That's the basis of my objection, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Muhammad. Yes.
I may have misunderstood Mr. Mogotsi, but I thought he was inviting me to ask through his attorneys for names and numbers. And the one name and number that I want to get hold of is John's name and number. If Mr. Mogotsi wasn't inviting that, then I'll withdraw the request to the attorneys. But I understood him to be inviting me to ask.
Upon that information, whatever information that he may have, or the names, that same will be made by the legal team for the evidence leader to have. At this juncture, he doesn't know who John is. He doesn't have his phone. It doesn't take the issue of John any further.
I wasn't asking for the answer now. I was asking for it in due course in response to that invitation.
What's your attitude to the invitation by Mr. Mogotsi, Ms. Muhammad?
Chair, if those are the instructions, I'm certain that same can be arranged. We've had, even prior to the proceedings, where we've had meetings with the investigators together with the evidence leader. I don't see why we cannot do that when we are done here for the day. I do not have any objection thereto.
Thank you. Mr. Shaskalson?
Thank you, Chair. Can I just clarify that you were the one who wrote, or are you the one who asked the question, and then the name is there, by julle aangestel as 'n briek? Is that a text that you sent?
I can't remember, Chair.
Well, let's go later down. If we go over the page, we see how the conversation proceeded. It said, nou, hoe het sy nog steeds nie 'n personal number nie? Ook enige idee of sy familie is? Did you write those?
Since this long, it's not me.
Sorry?
It cannot be me. I can't write this language.
You don't write in Afrikaans?
I can't. I don't text in Afrikaans. I'm not good in Afrikaans.
And why would you send that to Mr. Matlala on the 2nd of January?
Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
Then the next screenshot is, again, the personal number, well, a salary screen without a personal number, no records for combination. Does that relate to the prosecution of General Kumalo?
Let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
Now, let's get to what happened after you sent all of these. Page 77. What is this things you've just sent to me, brother? I see it shows several registration numbers of cars and residential addresses, and you say they used state money to buy those properties. So why were you sharing this information with Mr. Matlala?
I'm not going to incriminate myself, Chair.
Well, let me ask another question. Did either your handler or your co-handler know that you were sharing this information with Mr. Matlala?
It will depend, but let me not incriminate myself, Chair.
Well, what would it depend on?
You see, when you work with a handler, there is a time where you submit like your report. In your report, you'll outline, this is what is happening, this is where we are, every step. So possibilities, it's just that you can't show him all these messages. If there are 100, you can say, I'm talking to Madlanga, we're working on this and this, full stop.
But would you provide a brief description of, I've shared with him a whole range of properties illegally bought by crime intelligence and details of someone illegally appointed by crime intelligence. Would you?
No, let me not incriminate myself.
Mr. Chaskalson, is there a way of short-circuiting this?
Chair, I do think it's important that we go through it, if only to show that we are, I mean, even if we're not getting much out of the witness, I think we do need to try.
All right. How much longer do you think? Your microphone,
Yeah, no, I know. I switched the mic off because I was looking to see
sorry.
how much longer.
Okay.
I think at least an hour, unfortunately. We can.
Okay.
Let me put to you what your alleged co-handler said to us. He said that he was not aware that you were investigating Mr. Matlala. Do you have a response to that?
As you said, Brigadier Duma, who was senior to this co-handler, is the one who knew what I was doing. Even the notice for investigation went to Duma.
Why didn't you mention Duma at all in your statement?
Let me not incriminate myself, Jay.
You see, your alleged co-handler didn't just say he was unaware that you were investigating Mr. Matlala. What he said is that if you were investigating Mr. Matlala, sharing documents relating to your investigation of crime intelligence with Mr. Matlala, who was a completely different target, would be bad intelligence practice. And what's your response to that?
That is thinking, and there's nothing I can do about it.
But your handler, are you saying that your handler was aware of this and was quite happy with you sharing these documents with Mr. Matlala?
Don't, let me not incriminate myself.
You see, this is not the only example of bad intelligence practice if your version is to be believed. You say in your statement that your first meeting with Mr. Matlala was on 7 December 2024. That's at page 9 of your statement. Paragraph 32.
Yeah, Chair.
And you stand by that?
Oh, no, I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Well, Mr. Mogotsi, it's a bit too late for that because you've stated that under oath in paragraph 32 of your paragraph.
Yeah, it means all the evidence that I've given will stand. I'll not retract or change. From now, let me not incriminate myself.
I see. Well, you then say, and 7 December was the day after the raid on Mr. Matlala's house. You're aware of that? The raid was on the 6th of December.
Let me not incriminate myself.
Mr. Mogotsi, you are refusing to answer the question. It's not an incriminating issue. You simply refuse to confirm that the 7th of December was a date after the raid on Mr. Matlala. And that's it. You're refusing to answer the question.
Commissioner, I'm going to give an answer, Commissioner. You see how I incriminate myself. I met Kate on the 7th of December. I may not remember if it was a day after he was raided.
I don't see anything incriminatory in that answer.
Let's check the next question.
The next question is, you met him on the 7th, and on the same day, we see in paragraph 33 that you activated your handler, who you say is Mabizela, but now you say is Mabuza, to arrange for Matlala to open a criminal case at SAPS in Soweto. Mabizela, you said, but you now say Mabuza, then spoke to my co-handler, who then facilitated the opening of the docket. Do you stand by that as well?
It's in the statement.
Yes, but I'm asking, do you stand by it?
I stand by that.
You see, your co-handler said that the request came straight from you, not from Mabizela or Mabuza. The request to open a docket for this person.
Yes, I may have called him also, because I talked to them both.
Okay. Your co-handler also said that at that stage he was unaware that you were investigating Mr. Matlala.
Is it possible? It's possible. If I request,
it's possible.
Yes, any high-ranking officer, you ask him, may you assist someone to open a case? He won't ask you if you're investigating, why are you opening a case? He'll just help the person.
Yes, and he said he didn't even know that it was Mr. Matlala you were asking to open a case for. It was just some person.
Yeah, it's possible. He didn't know. Because
yes. He was very clear that it was not good intelligence practice to put a target in contact with a member of crime intelligence who was playing a supervisory role in relation to the investigation of the target. So he was clear on that. So the tenor of his evidence was that if he knew you were investigating Mr. Matlala and he knew that you were asking him to open a case for Mr. Matlala, he would not have put himself in a position where Mr. Matlala saw him and knew that you were dealing with him. What's your response to that?
You see, one of the reasons Mr. Matlala had to open, he's staying in Pretoria. One of the reasons he had to open a case, I did say that previously, the same to the arrest of General Kumalo. The case was opened in Cape Town by a member of parliament. It could not be investigated. The same person came to Soweto in Orlando to open a case because there was this thing of station commissioners communicating or being instructed by their provincial commissioners that this case, this one, don't open. So for me to say, help someone to open a case, it is not about intelligence practice or not. It's to ensure that a person is able to open a case.
Yes, but you can get a case opened without exposing your supervising handler, or co-handler, as you say, to being known by someone who is a target of an investigation that he is supervising.
Yeah, but, Chair, the man could not open a case in Broadland, even in location, township in Pretoria. Once you are a target, you cannot open a case.
Why was it so important to get this case open?
He wanted to open a case. If a criminal charge is to be laid, it doesn't come with importance or non-importance.
And so you were prepared to expose your co-handler's identity to this man because you thought it was important for the case to be opened?
No, Chair, you call, please assist this person to open a case. You don't say, my brother, I now expose you. Going to open a case. This man is from crime intelligence. Let me show you. No. Even himself, he didn't open a case for him. He spoke to someone, please assist this man, and he left, according to him.
Yes, but according to him, he met Mr. Matlala outside the police station.
That's correct.
Didn't know it was Mr. Matlala, he says, but...
Yeah, it means he didn't know him, and
yes.
He didn't know him.
Yes. But he was very clear that it is very poor intelligence practice to put Mr. Matlala, who was a target, in contact with the supervisor of the investigation into Mr. Matlala.
Yeah, no, I have no comment. That's what he's clear about.
Yes. And it goes further, because a few weeks later, you not only gave Mr. Matlala the name of your co-handler, but you also gave him his ID number. Take a look at page 84. Do you remember when you did this? When you wanted Mr. Matlala to pay for your co-handler's ticket?
Yeah, and I believe it is in the statement where I explained why I needed to go with a co-handler in Cape Town.
Yes, but why was it necessary to give Mr. Matlala his name and ID number?
You see, when you purchase a plane ticket, there's nothing else you can use except an identity document. And Mr. Matlala could not prophesy that this man is who and who. He didn't know him. He could never know. It happens every time, even here, when an operation is done. You don't tell people this is this man.
Mr. Mogotsi, your co-handler's name is all over the press as a senior crime intelligence official. Anyone who showed any interest in these people would have been able to identify the fact that one of the people who you had asked Mr. Matlala to buy tickets for was a crime intelligence official.
I know how that leaked.
And long before this commission got set up,
Yes.
do a Google search. You'll find lots and lots of references to your co-handler and his role in crime intelligence.
Okay. That is true.
You see, what I want to put to you is that none of these dealings, in terms of which you exposed your co-handler to Mr. Matlala, make any sense if Mr. Matlala was an actual target of your investigation. And what I want to put to you is he wasn't a target of your investigation at all. In fact, he was someone who you hoped to work with against the real target, who was General Kumalo. What's your response to that?
No comment. I'm not going to implicate myself.
You're not going to incriminate yourself.
Yes. Let's go.
Let's look at your interest in General Kumalo. Let's start with your approach out of the blue to General Mkhonazi. Remember in September, out of nowhere, you send him WhatsApps. Can you go to page 290 of the exhibits file?
19.
290. Do you have it?
That's good.
Now, these are the WhatsApps that you describe as having been sent to General Mkhonazi in your statement as a way of making contact with him. And your opening gambit on the 30th of September, you say, "My General, Brown Mogotsi from the Northwest, an internal attempt to discredit you through a defeating the ends case." That's the 30th of September. General responds to you the next day and says, "Morning, sir, what you talking about? What defeating case are you referring to, and who's behind it?" And just remember, he's asking who's behind it. You immediately forward him the Mpangeni occurrence book. And then if we go down all the way to page 292, you answer his question, who's behind it? When at 9:19, you say, General Kumalo, DivCom, just check your standing with him. Yesterday, he pushed a negative narrative about you on the CITs in KZN. The same complainant spoke with him. And that's a reference to the complainant in the Mpangeni case, who you've referred to at 7:51 when you say, I'm meeting with the complainant, will revert. You with me so far?
That's correct.
Go over the page, 293. That text we've just seen is at the start, and in fact it comes above a crime intelligence presentation. So when you say General Kumalo DivCom is behind this attempt to discredit General Kumalo, yesterday he pushed a negative narrative about you on CRTs in KZN. You actually attach
To discredit General Mkhwanazi.
General Mkhwanazi. You attach a screenshot which shows a crime intelligence presentation. And then General Mkhwanazi responds to your Mpangeni materials. He says, I know that matter very well. An illegal operation was conducted at the premise of a high-ranking DCS official. We go down through 294. He gives his whole version on the illegal search at the prison officers. But he responds to your suggestion that General Kumalo is behind this attempt to frame him with a defeating the ends case, which we see at the top of page 295. He said, what did he say about me? Responds to your General Kumalo DivCom, just check your standing with him. And, yeah, it was your message. He says, what did he say about me? You respond at 9:37. And you say, in response to what General Kumalo allegedly said about General Mkhwanazi, you say that he said you, in other words, General Mkhwanazi, are having your interest and that maybe you're having your own cartel. You don't listen to crime intelligence. So you are telling General Mkhwanazi that General Kumalo at a crime intelligence briefing said maybe General Mkhwanazi has his own cartel.
Is it not preceded by keep it a secret, as in Jen, this must be in your chest? Then that chat that you just mentioned.
Yeah, indeed, Commissioner. So if we go a step back, you respond to General Mkhwanazi when he says, what did he say about me? Jen, this must be in your chest. He responds, trust me on this one, and then you give the answer. You're having your interest in that maybe you're having your own cartel. You don't listen to crime intelligence. Then Masemola intercepted him. Also spoke about your provincial crime intelligence. Remember, he's retiring next month. And General Mkhwanazi is clearly concerned. He says, please get me that presentation if there is one to confirm, or otherwise if there's any recordings. And you respond to that, nothing. In other words, there are no recordings. General Khan will brief you next week. So that's what the exchange was. And what I want to put to you is that the overall picture is that you are making very serious allegations against General Kumalo to General Mkhwanazi. You're suggesting that General Kumalo is trying to frame General Mkhwanazi, is trying to link him to cartels, and that General Khan will be able to tell General Mkhwanazi more about the treachery of General Kumalo. What's your response to that?
Thank you, Chair. You know, this I'm going to respond because it's in my statement. Like I say, what I said in my statement still stands. Logically, anyone here, if you can pick up a phone and send a message to General Mkhwanazi or any general in the province, he won't respond. The time I told you about the legend building, that is the legend building at its best. A man who doesn't know you get to talk to you. when I brought the application here for your recusal, I led you, or I didn't lead you. It's because you called me. You were talking. But I heard that you wanted to do something. That's what an agent does. Immediately when there's an opportunity of information, you utilize it. Like the word Khan, General Khan, is known in the crime intelligence. It's not my friend. In my previous statement, I said I met him once, greeted him from the car, but I knew when I used this name. Look how General Mkhonazi responded. In full, he explained to me what happened. He will not, Lieutenant General will not respond to those things if you don't tell him what he wants to hear.
You see, why General Mkhonazi would be interested in responding to you, I want to suggest, is not because of any dramatic legend building that you did in this exchange, but because you clearly had access to a crime intelligence briefing, and you gave him a screenshot. Where did you get that screenshot?
Let me not incriminate myself.
Are we no longer answering questions now?
No, obviously I'm going to say a source. You ask me what is the source.
No. Saying a source is not necessarily incriminating yourself unless your conduct in relation to that source was illegal.
I'll say it's a source.
Well, I want to know the name of the source and how I can contact that source. I know you saying that that if you were to give that information away, you would disclose that you have committed an offense by getting this crime intelligence briefing cover page. Is that what you're saying?
I don't understand the question, Chair.
Answering that question cannot incriminate yourself.
Okay, but I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know you don't want to incriminate yourself, but I am asking you, if you were to give me, with the mere fact of the name of the person name and details of the person who gave you that cover page, expose you to criminal prosecution? Because if not, you're obliged to furnish it.
If I don't give the name?
No. If by giving the name you have exposed yourself, you have disclosed that you have committed an offense, then you don't have to. If by giving the name you are not disclosing that you have committed an offense, then you're obliged to.
Yeah, but then I don't want to incriminate myself.
So you're saying that if you were to give me that name, it would be evidence that you have committed an offense?
Answering these questions leads me to incriminate myself.
No. Answer the specific question that I just asked you. If you were to give me the name of the person who gave you that division crime intelligence slide, would that disclose that you have committed an offense? The identity of that person would be sufficient to show that you have committed an offense.
I don't, but it's if I say it's a source, means a source is a source.
No, I'm not interested in sources. I want people I can speak to.
No, Chair. There's no way you can get a source name. A source? Never.
Chair, I must ask you to instruct the witness to answer this question. It seems that he wants to protect his source, which is different from asserting a privilege against self-incrimination. He can disclose the matter, doesn't need to give the name publicly. He can write it on a piece of paper like he did last time, and we will keep it confidential.
A chain of information of this nature, it will come from this person, goes to my handler, comes to me, maybe I give it to somebody. And if my handler is the one who got it, may his soul rest in peace.
Well,
Mr. Mogotsi, this is not about self-incrimination.
Yes.
It is simply not. So it's just a question of either giving the information or plainly refusing to give it. It has nothing to do with the self-incrimination.
So, Chair, is is a witness compelled to give a name of a source in the commission?
The witness is compelled to give evidence, and this relates to exactly that. This is about evidence. And if the issue is not divulging it openly, you can give us the name. You can write it down and give it to us. It has nothing to do with self-incrimination.
All right. I will write it down. I'll talk to my lawyer to give it to you.
You are on the witness box now. You have to answer. The question is asked now. You have to answer it now. And you've been given the option to write it on a piece of paper and give it to us.
Yes.
Your legal representatives are not testifying,
Oh,
Mr.
no, I
Mogotsi.
can write it down. I can write it down.
Yes. Give him a piece
No,
of
they
paper.
They are borrowing me now.
I could have predicted it would be a dead person.
But Chair, you heard that's the person I was working with. Is the only one who had access to that. Now, how
Sorry?
You even told me that my co-handler did tell you who I was working with, who had direct communication with the crime intelligence. He's the only one who could give me that. Now, if questions are posed when there are predictions, Chair, please protect me.
Yes, Mr. Johnson.
Sir, the source was not in fact a source at all, was he?
Chair?
The source was not a source at all. The person who gave that cover page to you, you said it came from a source, you didn't want to disclose a source. That was false, was it not?
It's not false. You see, there is life and there are families who are still alive. In this environment, giving out people's names, whether alive or not, you really put their families in danger.
But the fact remains, you didn't get that information from a source at all. You didn't receive it from a source.
No, he was my source.
The Commission and I know who he was, and I put it to you that he was not a source at all.
And Chair, isn't it worrying that the person you are referring to 2 days before he had to come here, something horrible happened to him and he passed on? When the family went to collect his body, the same police officer was shot at, same number of bullets like me. None of the bullets touched him. At least they never said he shot his own car and he shot himself. He was almost killed. That captain who went to fetch the body of the same person.
Are you saying that had anything to do with him giving you this screenshot?
No.
What you're describing?
No, I'm saying there is a lot that is happening, Commissioner.
Okay, no,
Yes.
I just wanted to be clear that you connecting it to this screenshot.
You see, Mr. Mogotsi, there is another way of looking at all of this. The person who passed away 3 days before your alleged co-handler was going to meet us was someone whose existence we knew nothing about. Warrant Officer Mabuza was someone whose existence we knew nothing about. We learn about these people. For the first time they get mentioned a long time after they have passed away, when of course they're no longer around to be able to contradict the things that are said about them. And it is very disconcerting to me that you are able to mention Warrant Officer Mabizela, who was arrested several years ago and never played any role at all in your handling, in your witness statement. You don't mention Warrant Officer Mabuza. You mention your co-handler and you give us your name, his name. We go to speak to your co-handler, he says nothing about Brigadier Duma. And then after Brigadier Duma dies, he suddenly becomes the key to this entire operation. It does seem to me that you are pinning on a dead man responsibility for what looks very much like a renegade crime intelligence operation. And it's very convenient to have a dead man to pin it onto. What's your response to that?
No comment, Chief.
Do you have any evidence of having met Brigadier Duma at any time? Any extrinsic evidence that will satisfy us that you met Brigadier Duma before he passed away?
I don't know what kind of evidence you want.
Sorry, I could not hear you.
I don't understand the kind of evidence he refers to. For example, you just spoke about Lieutenant General Sibia. I cannot give you any evidence that I met him. If people met, and this thing operates differently. We don't take pictures. You can't say, hey, I was with this man, then we take pictures.
If we look at your cell phones, will we find the geolocation showing that you were ever in the same place together?
Yeah, that if it's utilized, yes, definitely, more than once. More than once.
And maybe you could give us some dates to look at.
No, I can't remember the date.
Not even, Brigadier Duma passed away 3 months ago.
But it cannot be dates. If you do your section 205, I can tell you locate me with the same person.
You give us some approximate times when you say you met with Brigadier Duma and where, and we will do that exercise.
Yeah, I'll try and check when was that. The last time. Oh, you want them now here?
Yeah, no, I would like to have them here.
Even this year, was it no, December.
And where would you meet Brigadier Duma?
Even at the office, at his office.
At his office?
Yeah.
Now, his office is in the same building as your co-handler.
No, yes, you also have an office.
Yes,
there.
it is.
You also have
so
an office there.
it's not going to help us to look for meetings at his office, because if you go to meet your co-handler who admits to meeting you, you will be seen in the same position.
No.
I want a location outside the office.
No, that's the only help. That's the only place we'll meet.
You only ever met Brigadier Duma at his office?
I met him at his office.
Yes. How many times did you meet at his office? If we go and look at access records at that office building, will we find you coming in and out to see Brigadier Duma?
Yeah, but we can go and check. We'll never find, even when I went to see my co-handler, I don't sign. You'll never find my signatures or name there. And you'll see most of the time where people meet, when you get there, there is a way of meeting.
You see, the version that your co-handler put was that he frequently met with you at his place in Bryanston. Is that true?
No, I cannot. I cannot answer that question.
Well, you can answer it. It's either true or false.
That I met with Duma in Branston.
Yes, he said he's got a place in Bryanston, and that's where you would meet. Small place, small Inyana
Co-handler,
place.
you said co-handler. Now you're saying
No, I am saying co-handler.
co-handler.
Yes, I am saying
And I
co-handler.
met with Brigadier Duma and Cohen.
No. I'm saying the version of your co-handler is that he would meet you frequently at his place in Bryanston. Said it's a small Inyana place.
Yeah, but let me not answer this question with incriminating myself. You know, after he said that, the police now during their raiding, you know, they went to Branston last week. So let me not incriminate myself further.
This is not an issue of incrimination.
No, it's to put myself. I mean, they went after he spoke to you. After he spoke to the commission about Branston, the police went on Sunday, this Sunday.
Mr. Mogotsi, you have admitted that you've met him.
Yes.
How does the location, you are giving an address, you say we met in his office.
Yes.
How does it become self-incrimination to confirm a different address? Because you've
Yeah, ma'am.
already admitted.
Yes, ma'am, I'm
Let
saying-
me finish now. Let me finish,
Okay.
please. You have admitted meeting him, and you have put up a version of where you met him. What is being put to you is his version of, and only the location where you met in Bryanston. How can that be a question of self-incrimination?
Yeah, okay. I understand what you're saying. Because I admitted to have met him. Yes. No, we met in Branston. But I was just putting it on record that after my co-handler spoke about Branston, the police went to raid Branston on Sunday. Yes, we met in Branston.
So you would meet your co-handler in Bryanston.
I also met him there.
You also met Brigadier Duma there,
But that was not recent. It was long time.
long time ago.
Yes.
But if how long ago? Are we talking 2024,
No,
2023?
2020, even after, I think around even 2025, I think it happened.
It was in 2025.
I think so in Branston. Not sure.
So we will find you and Brigadier Duma in the same place in Bryanston at some stage in 2024, 2025.
And then, Chair, something just that you have a clue. You see, the co-handler told you that he's very close to this General, who's that General Khan. Locate them if you'll ever find them together. Or if you locate me with my handler, with our phones. No one, the first rule, don't bring your phone. But go and try. That's the first rule. Thank you, Chair.
So you're now telling me that I shouldn't look at geolocation because you always switch off your phones.
No. I say you can go and check. But at the office, probably get, even in Branston, you check. But to rely on cell phones in these things is not as easy as you think.
Well, we know that you did meet your co-handler in Bryanston quite frequently. So we'll first check to see if we can find you and your co-handler's cell phones together in Bryanston. And if we do, then we'll go and look and see if we can find you and Brigadier Duma in Bryanston also.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Can I just quickly clarify everything that you told General Kumalo in your WhatsApps was false, was it not? Literally every single statement that you made to General Kumalo in those WhatsApps in September, October last year was false.
That's not false.
It wasn't false.
There was an OB entry. There was a correctional officer who was arrested with drugs. That thing was registered as an OB.
Well, let's take them one by one then. Did you meet the complainant in the Mpangeni prison case?
No.
No. So that was a lie.
Yeah, that is true. It's not true.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's true.
It was a lie.
It never happened, yes.
Yes. Did General Kumalo speak with the complainant?
No, I don't know. It's something
that was
I
another
made.
lie.
That is a false lie. That's something that I made. They never spoke. General Kumalo never spoke about him in the meeting. I was not there.
We're going to take them one by one. Okay. So you've told two lies there. You've said you met with the complainant in the Mpangeni case and that General Kumalo was also speaking to the same complainant. Did you clear with your handler and co-handler that you were going to tell these lies to General Mkhwanazi?
My handler knew when I started talking to General Mkhwanazi. My handler knew.
And I knew you were talking to General Mkhwanazi. Did he know that you were going to lie to him and say General Kumalo is meeting with the complainant who is setting up this defeating the ends case against you?
No, obviously where the information of this nature comes, wherever from the name where I showed you, my Buzma visa will always be involved.
So Mabizela stroke Mabuza knew that you were going to say that you were meeting with a complainant and that General Kumalo was also meeting with a complainant and that General Kumalo was trying to set up General Mkhwanazi, trying to frame General Mkhwanazi on a defeating the ends case.
No, Chair. And maybe I should give it in a way of example. If one is a prosecutor and instructions say the state opposed this bail, you don't tell him or go there, stand up and say, you just tell him go and oppose. When you get there, you oppose the bail. That doesn't necessarily mean you give him statement by statement. This is what we're going to say. This is what we're going to say.
I see. So now I understand that you've got a broad brief from your handlers. Go and engage General Mkhwanazi. Is that what you're saying?
Let me not incriminate myself on that one.
Did your handlers know that you were going to say that General Kumalo had pushed a negative narrative about cash in transits in KZN and had suggested that General Mkhwanazi had his own cartel?
No, I'm not going to incriminate myself.
You see, did your handlers know that you were going to say that General Khan would brief General Mkhwanazi next week?
Yeah, I'm not going to incriminate myself and my handlers.
Did you clear with your handlers whether you could drop the name of General Khan?
You don't need to clear. When you work on such things, you do what you have to do and report. But perhaps I should not incriminate myself. Please.
You see, in your statement, you say this was all about an attempt to gain General Mkhwanazi's confidence and trust in order to execute my mandate in terms of the task order of your handler. What was that mandate?
As it's written on the statement, that's how it stands going forward. Let me not incriminate myself.
So am I to understand then that this was your fishing expedition to establish whether General Mkhwanazi was working for the CIA?
Let me not incriminate myself further, please.
No, I don't understand why that would incriminate yourself. You've said the only mandate that you mention in your statement is the allegation that General Mkhwanazi may be working for the CIA.
Yeah, but now, as I said, remember, I fully confirmed that the content of my statement as is shall not change. But going forward, let me not incriminate myself. Perhaps
so there was no other mandate that you had in relation to General Mkhwanazi beyond the mandate in your statement?
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I don't want to incriminate myself.
So you're now saying there may be another mandate beyond the one in your statement?
Of incriminating myself, it's coming. I don't want to incriminate myself.
You've now publicly apologized to General Mkhwanazi for suggesting that he may have been linked to the CIA.
I did apologize. I can apologize again.
Yes.
And retracted that since I do not have tangible evidence, I should retract it, and that's what I've done.
But in pursuit of that link, you were happy to tell a series of lies that were calculated to interfere with the relationship between General Mkhwanazi and General Kumalo, were you not?
No, let me not incriminate myself.
Well, the whole purpose of your or the whole tenor of your WhatsApps was to make General Mkhonazi suspicious of General Kumalo.
Yeah, well, as long as I don't incriminate myself.
I see. And you were going to sow suspicion between General Mkhonazi and General Kumalo, who was the head of the PKTT in KZN and the Divisional Commission of Crime Intelligence nationally.
Repeat the question, Chair.
You were sowing suspicion between the Provincial Commission of KZN and General Kumalo, who was the head of the PKTT in KZN and also the head of crime intelligence nationally.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to incriminate myself.
I see. Did your handlers approve of this, sowing suspicion between General Kumalo and General Mkhonazi?
Yeah, maybe. Hey, please let me not incriminate myself.
And did you receive specific approval from any handler, co-handler, or Brigadier Duma to do this?
Well, like I said, if it comes from him, he knew. So somehow he knew what was going on.
Who knew?
The same person I wrote on the book.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
The dead person.
But I've agreed, I've accepted that they have passed on.
And so he knew that you were going to tell lies about General Kumalo to General Mkhonazi and make General Mkhonazi believe that General Kumalo was trying to frame him.
No, I'm not. I may not incriminate myself, please.
Did General Sabia know?
I'm not going to incriminate myself.
General Khan?
I'm not going to incriminate myself.
You see, if we go through everything that we know that you actually did in relation to your so-called investigation, what we see is time and again you are trying to set up General Kumalo. Do you remember the episode when you wrote to the minister about the breakthrough and whether the arrest was effected? And you immediately, well not immediately, you then WhatsApped your screenshot to Mr. Matlala and asked him about IPID.
Yeah, those that are in the statement, they still stand.
Yes, well, so I'm going to list a series of episodes. The first is your attempts to get members of the PKTT, or who you thought were members of the PKTT, arrested for the raid at Mr. Matlala.
I thought so. I can't hear the question.
The first, I'm listing a series of operations that you performed that seemed to be targeted at General Kumalo. The first is trying to get members of the PKTT, or who you thought were members of the PKTT, arrested for the raid at Mr. Matlala's house.
I didn't open the case for them. I didn't do it.
No, you referred it immediately to your co-handler, your alleged co-handler who tried to open a case for them in Soweto. That's one.
Yeah, but unless you say the PKTT or whoever can go to anyone's house, and remember he even said they assaulted his wife. To help someone open a case is not to target any person. He became the...
Who else have you opened a case for while working in crime intelligence?
Yeah, let me not incriminate myself.
Oh, I see. Can you give me one example of another case that you've tried to open while working in crime intelligence? For an alleged target?
I can't remember.
Well, try and remember. Is there one? Is there any target in your lengthy experience in crime intelligence who you've helped to open a case, other than Mr. Madlanga?
No, they didn't want to open cases. They were not attacked. Operations were not about opening cases. It was just a coincidence that a person's wife was assaulted and you know someone who can help him. And that's it.
Yes, but it wasn't a coincidence. Your first meeting with the man was the day after he was raided.
It's a coincidence in the nature that his wife and himself were assaulted. I didn't say, for those that assaulted, come to me and I refer you to open cases. Then that time, a person could not open a case. If, like this member of parliament, when he came to Soweto, I was not part of that. I did not know how that happened. But if I also referred him to someone, would that means my job is to help people open cases? People know
we do know what happened with that member of parliament. He also went to your co-handler. Your co-handler managed to get a case open for him.
Yeah, and now no one is concerned that why these people are traveling so long distances to open cases, because where they come from, cases cannot be opened. When you gave example earlier, Chair, about the arrest of those generals, on the 6th of July, when General Kumalo spoke, if you could remember how he attacked the presiding officer who imposed those bail conditions, that magistrate also even recused himself from that case. It's because they were not worried as to how did this man open, why did he have to travel all the way to open the case?
Yeah. Mr. Mogotsi, we will ask questions of General Kumalo when he comes back, but at the moment I'm asking questions of you.
All
And
right.
my question was, have you ever opened a case? And the answer was no.
No.
So you did that, you assisted the opening of the case on the 7th of December, the day after the raid. You then started communicating with the minister about getting an IPID arrest. You recall that?
If it's in the statement, it's done like that. And
Well, we traversed it last time. I'm not going to do it again. That was the second occasion.
At this point, let us adjourn for 10 minutes. Let's come back at 5:10.
Thanks. He or General Sabia can discipline General Kumalo arising out of the Constitutional Court judgment in the Makala case. You recall that?
that's correct.
That was a case that had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with General Kumalo. You accept that now?
It was spoken here, and I accepted that time.
Yes, but at the time you were urging the minister to charge General Kumalo. That's the fourth case. The fifth case is your attempted trap involving the colonel who was going to give evidence in relation to the disciplinary of General Khan that would result in General Kumalo being prosecuted for defeating the ends of justice. You remember that? Your section 252.
I remember that he only had to prove that there was a plot to have other General Khan dismissed, not the part that General Kumalo should be charged with the defeating.
Sorry, the General. So you're now disavowing that you wanted General Kumalo charged with defeating the ends?
Going with, as a result of the operationalization of the 252A.
Yes. Wasn't that the purpose of the 252A?
No. The purpose was to get information on what that man was saying about the hearing.
No, that wasn't the purpose of the 252A. 252A, you were trying to bribe the colonel with promises of promotion and possible payments of bags of money to say that General Kumalo had put him up to changing his version to implicate General Khan. We went through this all last time. I don't want to rehearse it again. Do you remember that?
But the word that I wanted to bribe him is not true. I never bribed him. He in the transcripts are here. There's no way I bribed him. He spoke about how he was approached and what to say during the hearing. And to my surprise here, having his statement, what he said from the transcript, the evidence leader decided to defend that man. It's not me who was speaking. I was part of the recording of the trap to have the man recorded. He said himself that I was approached, I was in Durban to speak lie about this general, but the concentration is not on that man, what he was saying. It's me, I wanted to bribe him.
Yes, but you didn't bother investigating what he'd said under oath the day after the events at Ayrton, which were what General Khan was going to be charged with, did you?
No, it was said you led that evidence here. You showed me the statement that he said during the arrest. Yes.
And so what he said the day after the event was exactly the same as what he had been, as what he was intending to say in front of the disciplinary committee.
I don't know. I recorded the man. That's all I can tell.
Yes, but you got involved and tried to persuade him to say that General Kumalo was telling him to change his story.
I didn't persuade. I didn't even know that he was going to do that thing. He came and said all those things himself. There is no way where I persuaded him. It is him.
We dealt with it last time. I'm not going to deal with it further, but that is then the fifth instance where you seem to be targeting General Kumalo in your operational activities. There's a sixth instance. The sixth instance relates to your WhatsApp exchange, your signal exchange with the minister at page 110 of the exhibit bundle, BM7, of the annexure bundle, BM7.69.
Sorry, the page again?
110. It runs over 110 and 111. You remember this signal screenshot that you sent to Mr. Matlala on the 30th of January?
This is what it was also dealt with previously.
Yes, it was. But I'm just pointing out that the sixth instance of you apparently targeting General Kumalo is the piece under 2 at the bottom of page 110, where you're saying also meeting with the DNC and COS today. In other words, with Deputy National Commissioner Sabia and Chief of Staff Nkabinde today in Durban for finalization of Kumalo and General Mkonazi's matters. And then DNC is waiting for the COS here. This is very significant. That looks like a sixth instance of your targeting General Kumalo. As against that, sorry, do you have any comment there?
No comment.
No comment. As against that, there's no evidence at all in relation to an investigation of Mr. Madlanga. None whatsoever that you've given us.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to incriminate myself.
I did not hear you.
Okay, I'm not going to incriminate myself.
You've known Mr. Madlanga since at least the Northwest tender case that your foundation brought with the funding of Mr. Karim to stop a tender that had been awarded to someone other than Mr. Mamela. You recall that case?
Yeah, we also dealt about it last time.
Sorry, we did deal with it.
Yes.
Yes, that was September 2023. August, September 2023.
That's correct.
And your version was that Mr. Madlanga had assisted you in relation to that interdict application.
What I said on TV, that's correct.
Yes, and you then confirmed it here.
Yes,
So you've known Mr. Madlanga since at least August, September 2023.
that's correct.
Yes. You found out about the possible need to investigate his tender with SAPS, according to your statement in March, April 2024.
That's the statement.
That's what the statement says,
Yes.
page 8, paragraph 26.
Yeah.
You're not,
That's
you-
correct.
So you knew about the need to investigate in March, April 2024.
Is that, sorry, which tender is that? I thought the tender was...
The SAPS tender.
Was it not issued in June of that year?
No, the award came earlier. So, was it 2024?
2025.
2025. I'm sorry, 2025. So you found out about the need to investigate the tender in March, April 2025.
That's correct.
That was more than 18 months after you first had contact with Mr. Madlanga.
Yeah, it's more than that. Remember during testimony when I was trying to show you that when I was showing the commission that even former Minister Bekitele knew Ket Madlanga, I made reference to that thing of Boko Haram. And on that time, I also said I had his numbers, if you remember very well.
Yes, but you knew about Ket Madlanga and his Boko Haram activities, or alleged Boko Haram activities earlier, but you had contact with him for the first time, as I understood it, in August, September 2023.
Yeah, I think that's what we dealt with.
Yes. So you were told about your source, you say, at paragraph 26, told you to investigate this tender in March, April 2020. You say it was 2024.
I see where you got confused, Mr. Chaskalson.
No, it was 2024. It was 2024 because the contract was cancelled early 2025. So it was 2024. So you say your source informed you about the tender that was awarded to Mr. Madlanga through a company, Medicare 24, which also had links to the former Minister Cele.
Yeah, my answer is I'm not going to incriminate myself.
No, but
It's in a statement.
you've said it. It's
Yes,
March,
and
April
that's what I'm
20.
saying. Everything in the statement, I agree it should stand.
I see.
Yes.
Well, in your supplementary statement, you mention that you were contacted by Mr. Karim prior to his investing money in Medicare 24, and he wanted you to verify if the tender was indeed valid.
It's in the statement. That one still.
No, I'm asking you questions.
No, going forward, let me not incriminate myself.
No, this is not about incrimination. Mr. Karim approached you before he invested in the contract. His version is his first payment of 5 million rands was on the 26th of June, 2024. So this would have been before 26 June 2024. he approached you and asked you to establish whether the contract was valid. Do you accept it was before the 26th of June?
Yes, that's on the statement. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes. Now, Mr. Karim is your friend, is he not?
That's correct.
Yes.
We were friends.
You were friends?
Yeah.
Are you no longer friends?
No, but not.
I always understood the recusal application as an attempt to start being friends again.
No.
You approached Mr. Karim prior to June 2024. Prior to 26 June 2024.
Yeah, you see, those dates I cannot remember now.
Yes, well, you can take it from me that Mr. Karim says his first payment of 5 million was on the 26th of June.
That's Mr. Karim.
Yes. But you say he was contacted, he contacted you prior to his investing monies in Medicare 24.
What he may have told you and what he has told me, I cannot speak on his behalf. I can only tell you when he spoke to me that he wanted to invest, that was the time. As to whether he has paid the money before or after, I don't know, but he asked me.
I see. So when you say in 32.1, I was contacted by Suleiman prior to him investing his monies in Medicare 24 to verify if the tender awarded to Medicare 24 was indeed valid, that's not what you meant to say. What you meant to say was, I was contacted by Suleiman prior to him telling me that he hadn't yet invested money in Medicare 24 to verify he may have invested already, he may have invested later. Is that what you're now saying?
Let me not implicate.
Sorry, let you not?
Okay, let me not incriminate myself.
I don't see what's incriminating here.
No, you want me to change what I've said. You say what I meant to say is something else.
Well, I point you to what you say, and you then say, well, it wasn't before. I can't say it was before he invested money.
Yeah, I can't.
Well, it's not a big issue.
Right.
But he started investing in June and July, and we've seen the bank records, unless there are other payments that he made that he hasn't told us about, none of them were made prior to 26 June. So you would have been in touch with him in relation to this contract around June, July 2024.
I can't remember. I cannot remember.
Okay, well.
Chairperson, SC, you are having the statement where he has paid. So now that I don't see the statement where he has paid, I must take your word as you say. But
well, on this one, you can take my word.
All right. Yes, I take your word.
Okay, 26 June was the first 5 million payment.
All right.
And Mr. Karim's evidence was that you kept in touch with him, or he kept in touch with you right through 2024 when he was concerned about finding out when payments were going to be made and what payments were going to be made. Is that correct? Did he, after the first approach, did he continue to keep in touch with you about this contract through 2024?
I gotta say, like I said, I speak the statement that if what you're asking me is in my statement, yes. If it's about Karim, I cannot answer for him.
I see.
Yeah.
If you wanted, I want to put to you that if you wanted to make contact with Mr. Matlala to investigate the contract, you could always do so through Mr. Karim. You could always have arranged an introduction to Mr. Matlala in relation to the contract through Mr. Karim, and you could have done that at any stage after June 2024.
As you're putting it to me, I don't know, Chair, and I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Well, why would it not have been possible to get access to Mr. Matlala through Mr. Karim?
The same way, I don't know, let me not incriminate myself.
It's not an issue of incrimination.
No,
it's an issue of either you think there would have been a problem approaching Mr. Matlala through Mr. Karim, or you don't.
The question why? Why didn't I?
No. The question is, could you have approached him through Mr. Karim if you wanted to investigate his contract, if you wanted contact with him to investigate his contract?
That's why I'm saying let me not incriminate myself. By saying yes, I could have approached him directly, or I could have called him, is to incriminate myself, Chair.
How does that expose you to criminal prosecution? Whether or not you could have found out about the contract from Mr. Karim. Either you could or you could not.
Because
how does answering that question expose you to criminal prosecution?
The next question will be, the question here is, yes, is,
You cannot say I'm anticipating that 10 questions from now.
no, Chair.
You ask a question that might
Yeah, Chair. Yeah, but the answer is simple. I don't know. He's asking me 2 years back if I wanted. I didn't want. He is asking me if I wanted, Chair, I could have made them meet and so and so. So I didn't want. I had no intention. It was not in my mind that time. So it's difficult to say now, yes, I could have made them meet.
So that's the answer you should give. But don't say you don't want to incriminate yourself, because that has nothing to do with whether or not you'll expose yourself to criminal prosecution.
All right,
there may very well be questions that concern you for that very reason, and there you can say,
All right, thank
I
you,
don't have to. But where you are asked, could you have contacted this person or that person, there's no reason why you can answer that question.
All right, Chair.
You see, what I find strange is that if you were genuinely investigating Mr. Matlala's contract from March, April 2024, I can't find any rational explanation for why you wait until 7 December 2024, the day after he's been raided by the PKTT, as you think, before you reach out to him. Can you give me any explanation why you wait from March, April through to 7 December before you reach out to Mr. Matlala?
But if we can look at my statement where I spoke about having to wait for the new administration and so forth, where I said because he was, where's my statement? Yeah. And that should not be misconceived that we waited until December. It's not the case. But he reached out to me that time and on my statement, I can't find my statement. On a statement, that's where I said because he was close to the former minister and the national commissioner who appointed him, we thought we should wait for the new dispensation. And indeed, when the ANC list, parliamentary list came out, we were able to see that former Minister Begitela did not make it into the list. That's when we realized that there's going to be a new minister, of course, and we waited. It's somewhere in my statement.
In paragraph 27.
When were the elections in 2024? Well, let me help you on that one. They were on the 29th of May.
All right.
Okay. The new cabinet would have been announced in June.
All right.
Right? roundabouts the time that you were approached, probably before you were approached by Mr. Karim to check out this contract.
I don't follow, Shane.
Sorry?
Okay, I don't follow.
Well, Mr. Karim approached you before he invested in the contract, and he invested in the contract for the first time on the 26th of June.
That's correct.
Yes. So by the time Mr. Karim approached you, there probably already was a new cabinet. You would certainly have known that General Kumalo was not going to be Minister of Police, because he wasn't on the lists.
That's correct.
So my question remains, why did you wait until the 7th of December before you reached out to Mr. Matlala?
Chair, because I'm starting to get the statement here. If you remember what I said, thank you so much. I did mention that we had to wait. And I also mentioned in my statement here is on paragraph 20. Commissioner said 27.
27, Mr. Mogotsi.
Thank you.
On page 8.
Yes, it was after the disciplinary analysis that he went to. Now, remember, we also had to wait to meet with General CB at the time. And all those processes, we could not jump and look for Mr. Matlala. In my statement, it is written on page 8, how the whole thing unfolded until we were able to get another DNC and go to Matlala. But the point I'm trying to make is, people do realize when you are looking for something, this is how you must talk to a person. It takes time. But it was not a target that we're supposed to meet in September. It is a known fact that after he was not able to open the case, that's when he reached out to me. That's when he wanted to open the case.
So your version now is that Mr. Matlala reached out to you?
No, I'm saying that's when we met. Let me put it that way. That's when we met. And that's, remember, as I said, these things are here in the statement. And whatever that I've said in the statement, I'm not changing it. I will request that the statement should stand.
You see, Mr. Mogotsi, you were quite happy to spread some very damaging lies about General Kumalo to General Mkhonazi on the 30th of September and the 1st of October. Why did that not have to wait for things to go very slowly? What was supposed to wait? Why were you able to sort of send your texts to General Mkhonazi saying lies about General Kumalo and sowing suspicion between the two of them on the 30th of September? Why didn't you have to speak to General Sibia and get your authority to do that first?
That's how I'm going to incriminate myself now.
Yeah, I think this may be the first time that you've actually asserted privilege in an appropriate context. You see, what I want to put to you, and it's been a long day, so I think we might want to end quite soon now. But what I want to put to you is there was never any investigation on your part into Mr. Matlala, none whatsoever. You were targeting General Kumalo, and you only became interested in Mr. Matlala when he was raided by SAPS members who you thought were the PKTT, and you thought arising out of that raid, you could get criminal charges brought against PKTT members and use that against General Kumalo. What's your answer to that?
No, that's not the case.
I see. My last set of questions is, I want your understanding of who is at the head of your operations, which I see as targeted as against General Kumalo rather than Mr. Madlanga. It seems to me that there are three possible candidates. The first is General Sibiya, who you say was at the head of all of your operations. What's your response to that?
I should not incriminate myself.
You have said already that he was in overall charge of your operations. You recall? He replaced, when General Mfazi passed away, General Sibiya took over.
Yeah, not my operations. He took over in the space of General
Yes,
Mfazi.
but did you not understand your handler and co-handler ultimately to be reporting to General Sibiya?
I don't understand the question. Did I understand that they were reporting to General Sibiya?
Yes.
Yeah, reporting or not reporting is not my operation. It's not that now he's heading the operation.
Sorry, did you understand, well, let's take it a step at a time. Did you understand that they were reporting to General Sibiya?
No, I know they're working together. As to how they're reporting, I cannot tell. I don't know how they report.
So did you expect that General Sibiya would be kept filled in on what was coming out of your operation?
Yeah, I'm not going to let me rather not incriminate myself.
Not what you say in paragraph 28, unless I'm reading it incorrectly. Statement.
No, it's a shop.
It's the black file, Mr. Mogotsi.
Yeah, it's paragraph 28. Yes, can you repeat the question?
And did you understand that your handler and co-handler would be reporting the outcome of your operations to General Sibiya?
Yeah, and I believe the statement is that's my statement.
My question is slightly different. Did you understand that General Sibiya would be briefed on the outcome of your operations?
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Why then did you need General Sibiya's permission before you could get going with your operations again?
That's incriminating myself, Chair.
Is that going to incriminate yourself?
I don't wish to incriminate. The question is, why do I want to?
Why was it necessary to have a meeting with General Sibiya before you took matters forward in September?
Yeah, but it is in the statement that General Sibiya was appointed in the space of General Mfazi. It's written there.
Yes.
And another statement, one of the sentences where we say there was a feeling from handlers that he was not involved in the Medicare 24 tender. Somehow he was not implicated in that.
Yes.
You would be more.
Well, let's just stop there. We have seen substantial evidence of the relationship between General Sibiya and Mr. Madlanga in this commission. And in particular, we've seen evidence that Mr. Madlanga arranged through Sergeant Nkosi for impalas to be delivered to the home of General Sibiya. Now, if you go to page 86 of the annexure bundle, BM 7.45, this is when you're in Cape Town for January the 8th.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you WhatsApp Mr. Madlanga on the 8th of January at 20:57 saying, please assist with something for the guests.
That's correct.
And he doesn't get back to you, and 2 hours later you say Impala ?
Yes, yes.
And then there are some laughing emojis straight after that on the next page.
Yes.
Are you still seriously suggesting that you weren't aware that Mr. Madlanga had delivered impalas to General Sibiya?
Yeah, this I hear for the first time. As you say, people came here and gave evidence before the commission. Chairperson, ever since I left the commission last time, I don't watch the commission. I don't watch the commission at all. But the Impala, this one, it was the meat, Impala meat, which I thought we will have. But he didn't.
Did you know of a place in Cape Town where you could get Impala meat?
No, but I thought he had in the fridge. It was ready, not the animal. The animal is now spoken by SC and Nkosi, and that I was not part of. And you can see I was laughing. It is the meat that we thought we were going to eat there.
So were you then staying in Mr. Matlala's house in Cape Town?
No.
So how was Mr. Matlala going to get hold of Impala meat for you in Cape Town?
I also had Mr. Matlala may be coming here. He'll be able to. He said he have some meat.
I see, but Mr. Matlala wasn't in Cape Town. He was staying in Joburg.
That's correct.
So from Joburg, he was going to orchestrate Impala meat for your dinner that night.
No, not. I don't get when you say he was going to orchestrate. What I know is we needed something for the guest, which he was going to do from Joburg, and then the Impala meat.
And where would this Impala meat come from?
Like myself now at home, I have kudu and this smaller thing. Anyone can have any meat that you want.
Oh, you can, but
Yes.
I mean, are you able to find a place in Cape Town at 10:52 at night that can arrange for a delivery of some Impala steaks?
No, is to check if we will have it tomorrow to eat. I get it, and it's now practical. There's no way you can deliver Impala at 10:52.
What were you asking? That
The meat.
Yeah, you thought what? That he will cause it to be delivered to you in Cape Town?
No, we thought during Braai he'll arrange someone to give us some meat. He got wild meat. It's not only Impala. That time he was referring to wild meat.
So he would arrange someone where? In Cape Town?
I don't know. He didn't tell us.
No, you thought.
Yes,
I'm not asking about him, but you're thinking. You thought the meat will come from Mr. Matlala to you. How?
Oh, no. Remember, if he has the meat either in the fridge or elsewhere, he could speak to one of his workers to say, take 5 kg, drop for these people, way.
Mr. Chaskalson is asking you, were you staying in Mr. Matala's house? And you
No.
said no, and then he says, so you thought he would orchestrate that you get the Impala meat from Johannesburg to Cape Town?
No. He has a holiday house there. We did not go there.
Okay,
He had, according to him, that meat in his house.
I see. In Cape Town,
In
the
Cape
Cape Town house. I
Yes.
see. Okay, understand.
And what about these 2 cry with laughter emojis, one less than the 3 that you sent me? What do they mean? Why would you be crying with laughter after suggesting that he should send you Impala?
Was I crying?
No, the emoji is a cry with laughter emoji at the top of page 87.
Oh, see, he was not responding, and I said next time, then I just send him to show that I can see he was not willing to respond. Chair, with all fairness, the SC still, he make reference to an application which was dismissed, the content. He keep on saying, I also sent him an emoji like I sent to him and what. So it prompted me to now, because I was 5 minutes late when I was outside, and still if I was present, I could not have said exactly what happened. Now he keeps on touching it so that it comes as if I must also say, it's you who called me. It's you who said, Mafana, can you get me this on Suleiman? It's him. Now, for us not to talk about it, I'm requesting that these examples relating to that thing, because the matter has been dismissed. Yeah.
The matter has been dismissed, but I want to know what was so funny about the suggestion that Mr. Matlala would give you Impala, that you sent him 2 emojis, which are the cry with laughter emojis.
Yeah, he was not responding. But like you said, I also send you. It means I love sending this stuff, Chair.
Yeah, we've had an interesting time in this commission learning about the different meaning of new emojis. So that's General Sabia. The other possibility, and they're not exclusive, is possibly the Minister Mkhunu. Because all of your communications, which we've seen, are related to General Kumalo. Are you in possession of any other communications with the Minister that you can show us that don't relate to General Kumalo?
Yeah, but remember the phones now are gone. We would perhaps get something when you talk about the ANC too much. Yeah, but now there's nothing to show you now since the phones are.
And you spoke to the Minister about Mr. Matlala as someone who was going to fund him. You remember that at page 110. Foot of 110. The guy of the funding, brackets 20, is also in Joburg from Tuesday. He's the one I said has a 3 billion contract with SAPS.
Yes, I remember this, but we also dealt with this previously.
Yes. Yeah. And you told Mr. Matlala that you wanted him to fund the Minister. You remember that?
I want him to fund the Minister?
Yes.
I can't remember that.
Well, let me give you an example. Go to page 59. You see foot of page 59, Mr. Matlala. For his safety in business, he says, "This won't change my contribution towards the Minister, though. I made a conscious decision and I'm not backing down. Whatever help the Minister needs from my side, I'll be happy to assist."
Yeah, but the question was, did I ask him to fund? He sent the
No.
message. I
Well,
did not ask him.
You didn't ask. So he volunteered to fund the Minister.
Yeah, you see, this is what he said. You can say I volunteered, but I did not ask him. You can never ask funding or anything in the name of another person.
He thought that he was funding the Minister. Or not?
Come again?
Mr. Matlala thought he was funding the Minister,
Thought
didn't
he was
he?
funding the Minister. Thought he was funding the Minister.
Yes.
No, in all our communication, there is no part where I say the Minister wants. No. No one ever funded Minister Senzo that I know. Nobody. The guy which I thought would fund that thing, I forgot his name. He also had a small contract in SAPS, but he did the meeting never materialized.
I see. So it was somebody else who was funding the Minister.
Never funded.
Right.
I was trying to arrange the meeting, never took place for that thing in KZN.
Let's look at the last possible candidate, General Khan.
General Khan.
Yes.
Okay.
He was being prosecuted at the time in a process which had been initiated by General Kumalo. Do you remember that?
It's correct.
The only person in crime intelligence who actually admits to any knowledge of your operation is someone who works with General Khan and says he's a very good friend. That's your co-handler.
Oh, he said that to you. No, I don't know that.
Yes, well, you can take it from us that is what his testimony was.
Thank you, Chair.
There's no sign of you on the books of crime intelligence. We've seen that. You're not registered as an agent. You're not registered as an informant.
But I cannot comment on that.
Yes, but if your co-handler was going to be running you off the books of crime intelligence, you'd expect that he'd need someone senior to support him doing that.
You see, when we went to the hospital with you remember when we went to the hospital?
Yes, you didn't come, but your attorneys did.
Thank you, Chair.
Your attorney and counsel.
He wrote something very short, and he said, when I was registered for this particular, because the matter was sensitive, we could not be re-registered again. So it was then done manual. I don't know how they do it.
Yes, we've been trying to find that out too, but the one thing that is clear to me is that's not someone at the level of a rank of colonel will do without cover higher up. Do you accept that? That if you're going to run someone off the books, you'll want a senior officer backing you.
Yeah, but that's why he was called by General Kumalo in the first place.
Yes, but General Kumalo was long dead by this stage. Are you now saying it was General Sibia who was the one who was protecting the operation?
No. The introduction of the co-handler and General Kumalo happens on the same day, simultaneously. It was the same period. General Sibia came in after the elections, now recently, when we needed another DNC. It's the co-handler who went to talk to him, who arranged all those things. It's not me. You see, the situation is so, I don't know how to put it, Chair. A logic person will think, will ask himself, but this Brown Mogotsi, if, like you say, this does not exist, where does these things come from? Why will this man be involved in these things to the heath? It is just that when you are here, we are not being questioned the evidence or the information that we brought, what I've been doing. I'm getting to be asked about this, like Impala, my ID number, the matter in the Northwest. We don't deal with the nitty-gritties of why do we have this commission. And that's why I was so willing to come here and say, this is what happened. Now, I've also said, if it is just that now commissioners say I'm sitting here under oath, and the lawyers are not talking, and they have not taken an oath. I was saying there is someone who can help this commission in 2 days. He brings the file, he brings you everything that has been purchased illegally. I wish you accept that.
Well, we've asked you for the name of this person and contact details, and you won't give them.
We'll do it. Even my co-handler did tell you. He asked you, let this man come here.
No, your co-handler asked us about something completely different, which we are following up.
All right, no, thanks.
But see, you were asked right at the beginning of your evidence to provide names of people that the investigators can speak to about the leads that you say should have been followed, and specifically the crime intelligence complaints that you have about property. You were asked, and you said, I don't want to incriminate myself.
You mean today?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
No. You were asked, and you can't 3 hours later say, well, I have that information, I can give you that person. No. Now is the opportunity for you to give the commission the name of the person that you say the commission should speak to, who you say will come here with files. Not through your attorneys. They are not testifying. You are the witness that's making the allegation, remember. You're the one in the witness box that has made the allegation the last time you appeared and today, that there are these properties, crime intelligence, investigate them. The simple question you were asked is, okay, give us a name so that we know who to talk to. You said, I don't want to incriminate myself.
Okay, no, I remember. Let me not incriminate myself, Chair. But what I did say is still here. The title deed, the amount of the property, the person whom the property is registered on. It's here, it's with the commission. At least if you could start there.
Can I understand this? You are refusing to give a name of the person that will assist the commission to find out more about these properties that you say crime intelligence bought, used money bought and registered in the name of somebody's daughter. You want us to investigate that, but you're refusing to give the name of the person who you say can come here has got files and documents. Because that's what you said. You said there's someone who's got files and documents, and they can come here. And I'm now asking you the simple question. You are refusing to give the name of that person.
But, Chair, I think what the Commission is, this I have said before. If General Kumalo is the head of crime intelligence, it means he also signed. I said Lushaba, Major General, is the CFO of the crime intelligence. It means he also signed. Now, if we're able to go to so many bank statements, so many people, including myself, all of us, can't we get the statement of the crime intelligence? Here's the property name. It has a date of transfer and the amount of money that has been paid. Can this be pursued? Because
Maybe.
I'm saying this, Commissioner, because I spoke of an informant who was in the operation and pretended to have passed on, and money was claimed. He was given 50,000. I gave the name of the police who wanted to accompany the handler to meet the informant. After meeting, 3 days later, the informant was killed.
Yes, Mr. Mogotsi, let me stop you. You have said, as you're sitting there,
Yes.
there's someone who has files and documents, and you keep repeating it. That's why I'm talking to you about it. Otherwise, we would all have gone home by now.
Okay,
You keep repeating it. You say investigate that. There's nothing wrong with you saying that. Saying investigate it. You get asked. No, in fact, before you get asked, you say there is a person who, if you talk to them, they will come here with files and documents. You said that.
Yes.
And Mr. Chaskason and now me have said, give us the name. You say, speak to my attorney. So you do have a name, right? When you say, speak to my attorneys, and I say, we can't speak to your attorneys because they're not testifying. They're not the ones that make the allegation. You make the allegation in the witness box. Give us the name. You can say, I refuse to give you the name. Because I understand you to be refusing to give the name, and I would like it to come from your mouth that you refuse to give us the name, then we'll leave this topic.
No, we can't leave the topic, Commissioner. It is, the rules are being read. Once we have taken an oath, you cannot refuse.
So give us the name, Mr. Mogotsi.
It's the same as, I'll give the name, and
Please
I
do.
wish,
Please do.
I'll write it down also.
Please
I'll do
do.
that.
Yeah, maybe let's cut through this.
All right.
You can write the name down,
Right.
give it to Mr. Chaskason. You've given him something to start with, to
I'll do
investigate,
that.
someone to talk to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
At least, thank you so much. No problem. This one is alive.
It's always a help when you have to ask them questions. It's a name I know. I'm happy if you want to destroy that so that it goes no further. I will remember that name. I know that name.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mogotsi.
Chair, it's 6 o'clock on a Friday. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Just to place it on record, we gave it back to you. Don't say it was leaked by the Commission.
Any re-examination, Ms. Muhammad?
None, Chair, thank you.
Thank you very much. And have we reached a stage where Mr. Mogotsi must be excused? or is being
Mr.
excused.
Mogotsi and I don't see each other ever again, I suspect we'll both be very pleased, Chair.
Thank you.
But I like how he's smiling.
Mr. Mogotsi, thank you very, very much. You
Thank
are
you, Chair.
excused.
Thank you, Chair.
The commission will not be sitting until, what will be the date?
1 June.
1 June, until 1 June. We are going to be preparing the second interim report. Let's adjourn and resume at 9:30 on 1 June 2026.